title means my video will be censored to bejesus. But I really want to talk to that guy. My lunch break. I really want to talk to that guy. The only way. Give me that. Thank you, sir.
Neighborhood, are you want to play Incredibles again?
Oh yeah, he does.
Well, I'm gonna do my golf question.
Kind of funny. So yesterday, I was watching the Super Friends. There's a channel called Me TV Tunes, and it shows old cartoons all day. It's basically my favorite channel. But one of the things they do is every day they show a couple of Super Friends. And Super Friends, we don't think about it, but Super Friends was so goddamn popular. Like, incredibly popular. So to think, just to pass it off as just a blah, blah, boring cartoon. Oh, yeah, like, see, 3 minutes in and there's nobody else here. I put my lunch break in and that kills the feed, which doesn't make much sense. Shouldn't that increase the feed? Oh, this is that Christmas episode about the Nazis and how we killed each other. How the humans killed each other off. This is actually like the second or third version of this cartoon. There's one about the ant that's made from yeah, this isn't the right one. The other one is made with an owl at the church, and the kids are all scared, and the owl tells the story about how man killed himself. We killed each other. The last two left, and they shot each other, right? Ooh, ow, ooh, he died. Ooh. Oh, this is such an interesting. He's going under the water. Look, the red bubble's coming up. Eventually, the animals came out, started taking over. This is a cartoon they used to show to kids. They still do. It's really weird how they remade this cartoon twice. The church, gotta show the church. But look at all the old world buildings. These were all the buildings destroyed by fire, remember? So then they went to the wise owl. Right. See, they're actually incorporating this. And the owl can read. Because the owl is old and wise. Moloch. So they're pushing biblical shit. Ye shall rebuild the old wastes. Now that the fucking animals can start talking now and can rebuild life out of our turmoil. So then they made houses out of our helmets. And they all had little trowels and saws and hammers and shit. Little overalls. They all made those too. Peaceville. It's called Peaceville. A little metal hanging up. Some symbolism here, boy. They're basically telling you the reset story here. They're just using animals. This is shocking. Good morning, Matt. It's interesting how stuff takes on more meaning the more you know. Makes you wonder what Silent Night is really about. Peace on Earth. After the humans all kill each other. Wow, that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that this morning. Anyway, so I'm watching this episode of Super Friends. And for some reason, Superman is flying around in his Superman mobile. It's like a small little, like a Festiva, but it's a one-man spaceship. And he's flying around, and he somehow gets taken through. It looks like a whirlpool. I guess it's some sort of it's a black hole. They did say it was a black hole, where he's like, "Hey, these stars look familiar. Hey, I'm near Krypton." And he goes and he lands on Krypton, and he realizes that Krypton is mere hours from exploding. And so he goes to the meeting where Jor-El is trying to get the people to understand that the planet's going to explode. And Jor-El's like, I feel connected to you somehow, stranger. I don't know you, but I feel connected. At one point, Superman's walking around, and the Kryptonians are like, "Hey, I've heard of Earth, but you look more like a Krypton man than an Earth man." Because I guess Kryptonians and Earthlings look different. But because he's on Krypton, he there's the red sun. He doesn't have his powers. But he does have the Superman mobile copter spaceship Festiva. And he realizes, like, somehow he realizes that the ion beginifier, the thing that powers the vessel that he's in, if he flies close to the sun and he pushes a button, and these mechanical like arms come out of the side of the Festiva, and they got white hands on them, little white human. They open the front engine compartment of the ship, take out this battery cell that I would assume powers the ship, but he just sort of lets it go, and it flies down into the red sun and makes it shrink so that it doesn't overtake Krypton, and he saves Krypton. So then he again, I'm not really sure how the machine keeps working, because he just took the battery identifier, ionizer, magnifier out. But he then flies back to his own time, where when he shows up, everything looks the same, except it's all busted up and destroyed. And he goes inside the Hall of Justice, and he finds Robin, and he's like, "What happened here?" And Robin's like, "Oh, great, Goose's ghost. The Legion of Doom destroyed everything and took everything over. I'm the only one that survived." Which is silly. How would Robin, of any of them, survive? But Superman's like, "Oh no, because I left." And the guy's like, "What are you talking about? I don't know who you are." And Superman realizes that because Krypton never exploded, he was never sent to Earth. And because he was never sent to Earth, the Legion of Doom is now all powerful and takes over. So Superman gets in his flying Festiva car. It still works. Flies back through the black hole. Flies into the red sun, where he finds the magnifier that keeps the sun from growing, I guess. He takes it, puts it back in his vehicle, so he can let the sun essentially do what it was supposed to do, which is destroy Krypton, literally committing genocide on not only his people, but his parents and everything. And Superman goes, "Oh, well, I guess things are meant to happen the way they are." Superman does all of this so that he could go fly back to Earth and keep Earth safe from the Legion of Doom. He lets an entire, his entire planet, his family, everything get destroyed so that he can not just protect Earth, but protect the United States. If that's not some subliminal, like, insane brainwashing nonsense. And of course, you know, Superman is the ultimate, he's the ultimate, you know, Jay fairy tale. They even talk about it in Hollywoodism. That Superman, he uses what they call a goyim disguise, a Gentile disguise, actually they call it a Gentile disguise. That he can fit in amongst the Gentiles. Even though he's super, he can fit in amongst the Gentiles without even a mask or anything. I mean, just think about how insane that is. They just flat out tell you that. They are not us, but they look like us. They fit in with us, and we're too stupid to know the difference. They don't even have to put on a disguise. All they have to do is put on some glasses, and we'll be like, "Gee, I wonder who that is." That's what the story of Superman is. You know, I'm really like, I feel like I'm at one of those like turning points, and it's funny because, you know, we were talking about yesterday about how cycles are, the more you do them, the more the cycle repeats, the faster the cycle repeats, like a sieve. Starts so big, and it just keeps getting slow, you know, faster and faster until it's happening every day. It's happening every hour, you know. And now I've gotten to this point where I'm at that everyday part where I'm sort of like, what am I doing? You know, I mean, I just don't know what to do. You know, there for some reason, my is telling me to focus on the catacombs. You know, and you know me, I'm like, we shouldn't talk about the past nearly as much as we should talk about the present. But I think the catacombs hold so much regarding our present narrative. Like that cartoon I watched today, Or we just got done watching. Let me see if I can find it. Last Man on Earth cartoon. Last Man on Earth cartoon. I mean, I can find pictures of it, but I can't find the wiki for it. And see, of course, it's about that show now. Last Man on Earth show takes up all the... I remember seeing this as a little kid in the early 1990s at Christmas. Shame it's never known more. The 1955 remake, Goodwill to Men by Fred Quimby and William Hanna Gisbert was really good too. Goodwill to Men cartoon. Let's see if I can find that one. Because this person happens to know the name of the remake. And by who it was and all that shit. Interesting. Goodwill to Men. Let's see. Is there a wiki for it? Interesting how this is so... I saw what was either a hologram or a drone plane frozen in the sky last night and recorded some of it. Blew my mind. I knew they were real. Drones? Of course, you know drones are real. Malice, good to see you, man. Some advice or moral support. I encountered this guy who tattooed a dog paw on his hip as a symbol for zoophilia. I don't know what to do, but he's told me he's a zoophile. Would you care? Why do you care? Dude can be whoever dude wants to be. Oh, so now I find peace on earth. It's Peace on Earth. Okay, so Peace on Earth film is a one-reel 1939 Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer cartoon short directed by Hugh Harman about a post-apocalyptic world populated only by animals after human beings have gone extinct due to war. The film's copyright was renewed in 1966, and it will enter the American public domain on January 1st, 1935. God, that's strange. Looked like a plane, no sound, facing the landing strip to the airport, and had blinking lights and two wings. Plane to me, but not moving, I swear, my life. I mean, again, just because it looked like a plane doesn't mean it was a passenger plane or something like that. You know, I've seen videos like that online where they show the plane just sort of stuck there. And I think at this point, we're going to start seeing actually a lot more of shit like that. Oh, look, some scientist guy is doing some crazy experiments in a cartoon talking about blah, 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 blah. Like, the past. This is a machine that can show you the past. Interesting. But it was no regular plane, absolutely. I don't believe it till I saw it. What just happened? That guy just got in a rocket and blew up? Casper. I hate Casper the Friendly Ghost. I wanted to look that up, though. Casper the Friendly Ghost is a dead kid, right? Isn't he a kid that died in some way? Stone Age. Let's see what it says. Let's see how it... Like, this is them building the narrative that we now accept today as, as solid. Because the people that grew up watching these things, I mean, they've been doing this to us forever. Casper just went, look at the chick sitting there with a smile on her face. She's getting drugged by the hair. She's hot and she's got a smile on her face. Hot redhead. Why do you think back in the day so many people, so many of these old cartoons used a redhead? She just put her hair in his hand and now she's letting him drag her. I just can't understand women, Casper just says. So this is weird. This cartoon's from 1939, starring Mel Blanc. I didn't know Mel Blanc was working in the cartoons that early. So you know this is gonna. Which one was that? Industrial Revolution? Is that what this is supposed to be? Robert Fulton. I love how it's the same reaction over and over again to Casper. Oh, the boat's gonna be like a ghost. They literally made cartoon after cartoon with people reacting to Casper where they run away. That's literally all this is. Yes, I am. I'm a proud denier of the narrative we're given. I love how you say that like it's supposed to bother me. Like you're such a dumbass. You say it like, oh, like I don't know what I believe. 1775, the year before the rediscovery or the whatever it was. Something is. It's not the revolution. Look, Paul Revere, silversmith, just in a big house with a house all behind it and a nice neighborhood and. Now he's going to run and the horse are going to run and that's going to make it all work, right? Oh, this was the horse parker. This is what you did. You parked your horse on one of these, apparently. That was how people knew where to park their horses, I guess. The redcoats are coming. That whole Paul Revere's ride story isn't true. He only did like a mile of it. George Washington crossing the Delaware. And Casper's dumbass never fucking figures it out. Right? They all get in lines, and that's how old wars were fought. Nobody's reloading, of course. He knows who these people are, but he doesn't know what's going on. It's all because of Casper. And now they're all happy about it. These guys aren't scared of Casper like everybody else was. What? Anyway, all right. The plot. On Christmas Eve, two young squirrels ask their grandfather, voiced by Mel Blanc, who the men are in the phrase, peace on earth, goodwill to men. Through flashbacks, he remembers them only as monsters with flashing eyes and long snouts, gas masks, carrying shooting irons with knives on the ends, bayonets. Always going to war, finding an increasingly frivolous thing to fight over as soon as another one was settled. They fight in scenes of devastation reminiscent of World War I until there are only two left. Each fatally shoots the other, and the last sight of a man is a hand curling into a fist as it slips under into a watery foxhole. Dun, dun, dun. By the way, if you're watching, like, share, and sub. Animals, among them a young squirrel who would later become the grandfather, come out of hiding to find a Bible open to thou shalt not kill. An owl, who can read, reads the words, taking it to be a good rule book that men ignored. The owl finds, ye shall rebuild the old wastes, paraphrasing Isaiah 58. What's Isaiah 58? is a 58 chapter, is the 58th chapter of the book of Isaiah in the Hebrew Bible or the Old Testament of the Christian Bible. This book contains prophecies attributed to the prophet Isaiah and is one of the books of the prophets. This chapter contains a proclamation regarding fasting that pleases God. Isaiah 57:17 through 59.9 in a part of Isaiah scroll 1 QLSA made before 100 minus 100 BC. They know that among the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran. Yeah, that's believable, isn't it? When you get told about the Dead Sea Scrolls, understand this is the kind of shit that they show you. Apparently, it's well over 2,000-year-old paper. It doesn't. It's not like you couldn't make this exact same thing with some coffee and and a lighter. But think about this shit. Think about how crazy this is. This is what you have to believe. This is your evidence. The original text was written in Hebrew language. This chapter was divided into 14 verses. So what is Hebrew language? Considering it's the first person to speak Hebrew in modern times was Eliezer ben Yehuda's kid. Because Eliezer ben Yehuda was the first guy he was the guy that invented Hebrew. Or he brought it back. Hebrew language, also called Classic Hebrew, is an archaic form of the Hebrew language, a language in the Canaanitic branch of the Semitic languages, spoken by the Israelites in the area known as the Land of Israel, roughly west of the Jordan River and east of the Mediterranean Sea. The term Hebrit, Hebrew, was not used for the language in the Hebrew Bible, which was referred to as, I can't read any of that shit, Judean, but was used in Koine Greek and Mishnaic Hebrew text. The Hebrew language is attested in inscriptions from about the 10th century BC. The 10th century BC now. Are we talking about 1,000? The minus 1,000, minus whatever that must be. I mean, if it's the 10th century now, it's the year behind. So like the 20th century was the 1900s. So is the 10th century the minus 900s? Is it the minus 1000s or the minus 1100s? How does that work? When it was almost identical to Phoenician and other Canaanite languages, and spoken Hebrew persisted through and beyond the Second Temple period, which ended in 70 CE with the siege of Jerusalem. It eventually developed into Mishnaic Hebrew, which was spoken until the 5th century. And then it's just gone? How does that work? The language of the Hebrew Bible reflects various states of the Hebrew language in its consonantal skeleton, as well as a vocalization system, which was added in the Middle Ages by the Masoretes. And those are actually the Masoretes or Masoretes, whatever, the Masoretes. That's the first. That dates back to the ninth. That's the first books of like the first religious text regarding Jesus and Christianity. It actually comes from them in the 900s until they found they just happened to find the the Dead Sea Scrolls. You guys got to get up and get going. There's also some evidence of regional dialectical variation, including differences between biblical Hebrew as spoken in the northern kingdom of Israel and in the southern kingdom of Judah. The consonantal text called the Masoretic text was transmitted in manuscript form and underwent redaction in the Second Temple period, but its earliest portions, parts of Amos, Isaiah, Hosea, and Micah, can be dated to the late 8th to early 7th century, minus the late minus 8th and early minus 7th centuries BCE. I mean, this is like, again, when you hear about, my favorite example of it is the fact that the proof that we went to the moon, like it's called the telemetry data, all of the like, this is how, and we use this much fuel, we use this much propulsion, we use this is how we were able to go to the moon, land on it, and then jettison ourselves off of it, and then fly back home. This is how we did it. We've lost that information. Guy brought up the Holocaust, right? All of the information that proves that 6 million were killed, lost. They don't, the Germans, the Nazis supposedly kept impeccable records, and yet the one part that's not been preserved for some reason is the account of who the 6 million were, where they went, how they all were distributed, how they were all killed, all of it. Yet we know that this text from the 10th century BC, early 8th, early 7th century BCE, it was redacted. Parts of it were changed during the Second Temple period, which is 70 AD. So somewhere around 70 AD, this shit was changed. And we know that. And we know like all these little pieces, and we know these characters from each, but let us know, let us have some real proof that the Holocaust happened. Can't find it. Show me the proof that we went to the moon. It's been lost. Show me the photographs, the evidence on how they built all these fucking structures all over the place that look like old world castles and seem to appear in every old building. Like, it's funny, every time they say that some building was built in, this time or that time, pictures show up. Pictures from a previous time show up, and you can see that building way in the background or something. So whatever date they gave us for how and when it was constructed just isn't true. But so much of that construction information, we didn't, like, we kept records of all kinds of shit. We documented all kinds of crazy things. But documenting construction of enormous skyscrapers with people from, donkey days? Nah, never thought to do that. So what, are we, because I know that the ugly hobo guy just never shuts up. So is it that the comments have been corrupted, or what happened? Hang on, let's see if this helps. Nope, that just gets rid of the comments altogether. So still, which is weird, because it used to, when I would do that, it would reset the comments so that if it got stuck or whatever, it would catch back up. So now if I do that, it removes the comments altogether. I can't see any. That's believable. So we'll restart. We'll do it again. So make sure you come back and go get your free downloads and all that stuff. There's all kinds of good stuff in the description, including Hollywoodism, which is the most important thing. Did you guys know they're redoing Operation Cast Thy Bread right now? There's evidence that's showing up that Israel is poisoning drinking water supplies over in areas of Gaza now. Did you guys see that? Look up Team Jorge, TEAM space JORGE. Look that up. Look up the Samson Option, SAMSON, and watch Hollywoodism. Like I say, I'm going to come right back, so hope you join us.